When chaos surrounds you, when life burns through your patience, and when everything seems designed to test your limits, remember this: the world cannot break what has already accepted the truth of pain. Machiavelli understood calmness is not softness and coldness is not weakness. They are the armor of those who have seen too much, lost too much, and yet learn to stand without trembling. The world will tell you to react, to shout, to prove yourself, but power is not in noise. It's in silence. The calm man is terrifying because he cannot be provoked. The cold man is dangerous because he cannot be controlled. The one who cannot be shaken becomes the center of gravity in every room he enters. Machiavelli once wrote, "Men should be either treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries, for heavy ones they cannot." He knew that the calm destroy through precision, not passion. The cold never act out of emotion, they act out of purpose. Every man must learn to master three things: his anger, his attachment, and his response. The one who conquers these is not a man. He becomes a force. When insulted, he does not react. When betrayed, he does not crumble. When tested, he does not speak, he observes. He understands that power does not need to announce itself. Real power is silent. It does not argue, it does not beg, it does not explain. It watches, calculates, and waits. Most people lose control because they mistake emotion for strength, but emotion is wind, it passes. Control is stone, it endures. Machiavelli taught that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both, because fear is predictable, but love is not. Love changes with emotion, fear obeys logic. But what he truly meant was this: be the one who controls emotion, not the one controlled by it. You will meet people who test your patience. You will meet betrayal disguised as love. You will face storms that seem personal, and in all of it, you must remain still, not because you don't care, but because you refuse to waste your power on what cannot destroy you. The world expects you to react, disappoint it. The world expects you to break, confuse it. The world expects you to fail, silence it. Machiavelli would tell you, control your expression, hide your ambition, and let your calmness unnerve the world. When you move, move like a shadow, seen only when you wish to be. When you strike, strike without warning, once, precisely, and completely. Because coldness is not cruelty, it is discipline. Calmness is not indifference, it is strategy. And detachment is not weakness, it is control. The man who can stay calm while the world burns will always inherit what remains. He is the one who builds when others destroy, who decides when others panic, who endures when others collapse. That is how empires are born, not in noise, but in stillness. You must understand, not everyone deserves your energy. Not every battle is worth your fire. Sometimes the greatest power is to watch, to wait, and to say nothing. Silence speaks louder than argument. Composure crushes louder than rage. So, when the world comes for you, when lies rise, when people turn, when storms roar, stand still. Feel the chaos hit you. Let it pass through you. Watch how it fails to move you. That is when you'll know you become something beyond emotion, beyond weakness, beyond fear. You've become untouchable. You've become unbreakable. You've become the calm in the center of every storm. Machiavelli's voice still whispers through time. Never show the world your heart. Show it your results. Be cold, not be calm. Be impossible to break. And when they finally realize they cannot move you, they will begin to orbit around you. Because power doesn't chase. Power attracts. Power endures. Power remains. Be the stone in a world of fire. Be the silence in a world of noise. Be the calm that commands all chaos. Because when the world burns, only the cold survive. There will come a moment when life strips everything away from you, your friends, your comfort, your illusions, and all that remains is silence. That is the moment when most people collapse. But the few who have learned to be calm, they rise. Because silence does not scare them. It strengthens them. Machiavelli understood that men are ruled not by truth, but by weakness. Their fear controls them, their ego blinds them, their need for validation enslaves them. That's why he wrote, "The one who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived." And what is the cure to deception? It is calmness. Because the calm man sees everything. He studies patterns. He listens to what is not said. He reads motive in every gesture. He trusts nothing but observation. The world will never understand your calm. It will call you detached because it cannot control you. It will call you emotionless because it cannot manipulate you. It will call you heartless because you refuse to beg for love. But you must not explain. Let them misunderstand you. Let them invent stories about you. Let them shout your name in rooms you will never enter, because those who remain calm are always the subject of noise, and those who make noise are always beneath those who stay calm. To be cold is not to be dead inside. It is to be alive with discipline. It is to feel deeply, but never let feeling dictate your direction. It is to love, but never kneel. It is to care, but never crumble. When others lose themselves in emotion, you stay centered. When others panic, you plan. When others speak, you listen. This is how power is maintained, not by controlling others, but by mastering yourself. Machiavelli said that fortune favors the bold, but what he meant was this: fortune favors the one who stays steady when others drown in chaos. Every storm, every betrayal, every test, it all comes to see what you are made of. And when you remain unmoved, when you respond with calmness and precision, the storm itself bows to you. Never let them see your struggle. Never let them sense your fear. The calm man is unreadable, and that is what terrifies the world. Because people cannot fight what they cannot predict. They cannot defeat what they cannot provoke. They cannot control what they cannot move. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you become more powerful. Every time you choose patience over pride, you grow untouchable. Every time you choose discipline over emotion, you rise above the noise. Understand this: calmness is not passive. It is preparation. It is the sharpening of the blade. It is the stillness before the strike. The one who appears slow is often the one who hits last and hardest. So train your mind to be steady under fire. Train your emotions to serve your strategy. Train your heart to love without losing logic, because the calm, cold mind is not heartless. It is simply free. One day, when everyone else has fallen into chaos, when every voice is lost in noise, you will stand there, silent, patient, watching, and in that stillness, you will feel something that no one else does. Power, not the kind that comes from fear or fame, but the kind that comes from control. Control of yourself, control of your focus, control of your fate. That is what makes you impossible to break. So let them underestimate you. Let them think your silence is weakness. Let them think your calm means surrender. Because when the time comes, when everyone else is tired, angry, and unfocused, you will act once, precisely, decisively, and that will be enough. The calm went not by being loud, but by being last. Be calm in chaos. Be cold in betrayal. Be still in war, because storms destroy only those who move. The still ones, they survive everything. Machiavelli's whisper echoes across centuries. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. Be the wise one. Be the silent one. Be the one who moves with purpose, not emotion. And when the world comes for you, when everything tries to make you bend, stand tall. Let the storm pass. Let the noise fade. Let the false fall away, because what remains is the man who cannot be shaken, the man who cannot be broken, the man who has mastered calm, and through it, mastered everything. Be calm, be cold, be impossible to break. That is power. When you finally learn to be calm, the world begins to change. The noise no longer enters your mind. The chaos no longer moves your heart. The lies no longer shake your belief. You see through people, through patterns, through their masks. You stop reacting. You start observing. And in that observation, you become untouchable. Machiavelli would tell you, never let emotion make your decisions, because emotion blinds the wise and silence sharpens the intelligent. Every word you don't say becomes a wall of power. Every reaction you withhold becomes a layer of armor. Every emotion you master becomes a weapon. Do not fight to be seen. Do not beg to be understood. Be still and let time reveal what noise never could, because time always bows to discipline. They will call you distant. Let them. They will call you cold. Let them. They will call you strange. Let them. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be unshaken. The calm mind is the last fortress of freedom. When you reach that level, no one can control you, not with anger, not with flattery, not with love. You become the observer of life, not its victim. You move like fate, unseen, but unavoidable. Machiavelli said, men in general judge more by the eye than by the hand. So, let them see what you want them to see. Smile when you choose. Speak when it matters. Move when the moment is right. The rest of the time, remain silent. Let mystery protect you. Let calmness hide your power. Let patience sharpen your control. There is a reason the sea seems calm from a distance. Its power is too deep to be seen. Be like that. Calm on the surface, infinite beneath. The ones who move without hurry command time. The ones who speak without fear command attention. The ones who live without noise command history. So, when the world pushes, do not push back. Let it exhaust itself against your stillness. When people betray you, do not hate. Remember, when opportunities vanish, do not despair. Adapt, because nothing truly breaks the one who no longer depends on the world to stay whole. Be your own source of peace. Be your own foundation of power. Be your own fortress against chaos. And when they finally ask, "How did you never break?" you will smile, because they will never understand that what they tried to destroy was never made of glass. It was made of stone. The calm are not emotionless. They are evolved. They have seen the fire and refused to burn. They have walked through storms and refused to fall. They have faced betrayal and refused to hate. That is what makes them dangerous. Machiavelli would whisper one last truth. Control yourself, and you control your world. So be calm when others rage. Be silent when others shout. Be still when others tremble. Because in the end, it is not the storm that decides who survives. It is the one who stands unmoved until the storm destroys itself. Be calm, be cold. Be impossible to break. And when all the noise fades, when the lights go dark, when the world forgets every name that shouted for attention, yours will remain, carved in silence. Because power does not speak, power endures. The world belongs to those who can remain silent when others scream. The crowd thinks noise is strength. They think emotion wins wars. But the wise know, emotion builds nothing. Emotion destroys focus, reveals weakness, and exposes strategy. Machiavelli said, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." And calmness is the highest form of deception. When they expect anger and find silence, they start to doubt themselves. When they expect panic and see stillness, they begin to fear you. The calm man never fights for control. He simply takes it by existing. You must understand, calmness is not a mask. It is a weapon. Every pause, every quiet breath, every look that says nothing, it unnerves those who live by reaction. They start revealing everything, trying to read you, and while they speak, you learn. While they burn, you build. Be deliberate in all things. Speak as if each word is an investment. Move as if every gesture costs energy, because the more disciplined your presence, the more gravity you gain. The world bends around the one who wastes nothing. People will test you. They will poke at your silence, misjudge your patience, mistake your calm for weakness. Let them. Every false judgment is free camouflage. The calm always hide in plain sight until it's time to act. And when you finally move without hesitation. Machiavelli wrote, "Whosoever desires constant success must change his conduct with the times." That means adapt without emotion, adjust without pride, react without rage. The cold and calm evolve faster because they waste no energy defending old versions of themselves. Understand this, calmness does not mean inaction. It means your actions are chosen, not triggered. It means you act from strategy, not impulse. It means you are not pulled by every noise that demands attention. When you are calm, the world becomes slow. You begin to see people for what they truly are, not what they pretend to be. You notice the cracks in confidence, the desperation in words, the fear behind aggression. You see everything, and because you see everything, nothing can control you. That is true freedom, not to escape the world, but to stand in it untouched. Not to hide from emotion, but to command it. Not to silence pain, but to turn it into power. You will realize that calmness is the highest form of revenge, because nothing confuses your enemies more than your peace. They will expect you to break. They will want to see you fall apart. But when you smile instead, when you stay silent, they begin to crumble, because they realize they cannot reach you. That is when power shifts, not through war, not through words, through composure. Be calm when insulted. Be still when challenged. Be patient when tested, because every time you do not react, you win without fighting. The calm win wars no one else even sees. They conquer by watching others destroy themselves. Machiavelli said, "The one who adapts first rules longest." An adaptation requires stillness, a mind clear enough to see truth before others do. So when you feel pressure rising, breathe slower. When you feel anger burning, move less. When you feel the world spinning, anchor deeper. That is how the calm survive every storm. You are not meant to be emotionless. You are meant to be in command. You are not meant to be distant. You are meant to be deliberate. You are not meant to be cold for cruelty's sake. You are meant to be cold for clarity's sake. Because clarity is power, and power, when silent, becomes unbreakable. When others fight for attention, you will fight for control. When others shout, you will think. When others chase, you will choose. That is how the calm rise. That is how the cold rule. Power is not about domination. It's about detachment. He who can detach from outcome controls those who cannot. Because when you need nothing, no one can threaten you. When you expect nothing, no one can disappoint you. And when you depend on nothing, no one can destroy you. Machiavelli understood this law. The less you show you care, the more control you gain. People reveal their weaknesses through desire. They talk about what they crave, what they fear losing, what they can't live without. But the calm man reveals nothing. His silence terrifies those addicted to reaction. Detachment does not mean you feel nothing. It means you do not let your feelings command you. The calm know their emotions like generals know their soldiers, useful in war, but never in control of the throne. You must learn to command your emotions like you command an army. Deploy anger when needed, withdraw pity when it weakens, and never let love blind your reason. Most people are prisoners of their emotions, slaves of the moment. They rise and fall with every word, every opinion, every failure. You must rise above that storm. Be the one who sees clearly while everyone else burns in confusion. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are driven by two main impulses, either by love or by fear. The wise man drives himself by clarity. He sees beyond both. He loves without worshiping, fears without fleeing, wins without boasting." When you master calmness, the world bends differently around you. People start seeking your approval without knowing why. Your stillness becomes magnetic. Your composure becomes authority. They follow you not because you shout the loudest, but because you never seem to need to. Every empire begins in the mind of a calm thinker. Every downfall begins in the heart of a restless fool. You must decide which one you will become. When chaos surrounds you, breathe once. Remind yourself, no reaction is also a reaction. No movement is also power. In stillness lies strategy. The calm are underestimated until it's too late. The cold are mocked until they win. The quiet are ignored until they rule. Remember this, calmness is not passive. It's predatory. While others swing wildly at shadows, the calm man watches and strikes once. Once is enough. You must train yourself for that moment, not by force, but by mastery. Mastery of silence, of time, of yourself. The more disciplined your calm, the more devastating your impact. So stay cold when the world demands heat. Stay patient when the world wants panic. Stay silent when the world screams for attention. Because in that silence, in that stillness, your true strength is forged. Be the storm that never shows itself. Be the danger hidden in peace. Be the calm that commands chaos. That is how you become unbreakable. That is how you become impossible to control. That is how you become what Machiavelli admired most. A mind that no one can read and a soul that no one can. There comes a point when calm becomes your armor and your curse. Because once you reach a certain level of detachment, you start seeing the world for what it truly is. You stop expecting fairness. You stop craving validation. You stop waiting for anyone to understand you. You simply move through life as an observer, quiet, strategic, unstoppable. Machiavelli understood this solitude. He knew that clarity isolates. When you begin to see clearly, you also begin to stand alone, because most people are addicted to illusions. They live for comfort, not truth. And truth, when seen through calm eyes, is often too cold for them to bear. You will be misunderstood. They will call you distant, heartless, emotionless. But they will never understand that your calm is not absence of feeling. It has control over it. They fear what they cannot influence. And nothing is more terrifying to the manipulative than the one who cannot be emotionally moved. Machiavelli once wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." That is the power of calm, foresight. You see consequences before they happen. You sense motives before they are spoken. You act when others are still thinking about acting. The calm man lives in the future, while others are trapped in the moment. He plays a longer game, one too deep for impulsive minds to comprehend. While they chase applause, he chases position. While they crave comfort, he builds leverage. While they speak, he listens, and listening is how he conquers. Do not be eager to prove your strength. Let time prove it for you. Because true power doesn't announce itself, it simply becomes unavoidable. And when you are calm long enough, everything around you starts to reveal its nature. You will see who is loyal, who is selfish, who is weak, and who only appears strong. Silence exposes people. Stillness forces them to speak. And through their words, you will always know who they are. When you are calm, you become the mirror that terrifies them. They project their chaos onto you and mistake it for your coldness. Let them. Let them believe whatever brings them comfort. For your calm is not for them, it's for you. Machiavelli taught that appearances rule the world. So appear composed when you are uncertain. Appear unbothered when you are attacked. Appear powerful when you are rebuilding. Because perception shapes reality more than truth ever will. Never let the world read your pages. Never let them see your fear, your doubt, your hope. Keep those locked behind your eyes, where only you can see them. The calm do not seek understanding. They seek advantage. You owe the world nothing, not your reactions, not your explanations, not your emotions. The moment you understand that, you become untouchable, because the calm cannot be baited, cannot be rushed, cannot be defeated by noise. You will see storms coming before they arrive. You will feel betrayal before it's spoken. You will sense lies before they are told. And when you do, you will smile, not because you enjoy the darkness, but because you finally learn how to walk through it without flinching. That is the essence of power, not to destroy, but to endure, not to control others, but to control yourself. And when you do, no one, nothing, can ever truly break you again. The calm mind sees what others cannot. Most people live as prisoners of noise, every thought scattered, every emotion loud, every fear chasing them in circles. They speak before they think, react before they understand, and destroy before they ever build. But the one who learns stillness begins to see the invisible strings that move the world. In stillness, you notice what others miss, weakness hiding behind arrogance, lies disguised as kindness, ambition dressed as love. When you are calm, you read reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. Control begins there within the silence you create inside yourself. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler must learn to act like a fox and a lion, to deceive and to strike. But before that, he must master his own mind, because the man who cannot command his own reactions will forever serve those who can. Every time you explode in anger, you hand someone else the key to your emotions. Every time you chase approval, you give away your authority. The calm man never chases, he draws everything to him by the gravity of his composure. There is power in not responding. People expect reaction, they feed on it. When they find nothing, they begin to doubt themselves. They start to wonder what you know that they don't. Your silence becomes the mirror that exposes them. That is why calmness is feared. It cannot be manipulated. And when you are impossible to manipulate, you are impossible to control. But calmness is not born from comfort. It is born from pain, from every betrayal that taught you restraint, from every disappointment that taught you not to depend, from every heartbreak that taught you not to reveal too much. Eventually you stop explaining, you stop proving, you simply move in quiet purpose. That's when you become dangerous, because you no longer need to be understood. The world rewards those who master appearance. Appear kind, but never naive. Appear open, but remain unreadable. Show warmth when it serves a purpose, and distance when it protects your position. The strong do not reveal their motives until the moment of execution. Let others mistake your calm for weakness. Let them relax in their illusion. When you act, they will never see it coming. Detachment is not apathy, it is strategy. When you detach, you gain clarity. You begin to see the long game that emotion blinds others from. Most people make decisions to feel better now. The calm decide to win later. The difference is patience. Patience turns chaos into opportunity. It turns waiting into advantage. When others panic, you plan. When others retreat, you advance quietly. The more you master stillness, the more the world slows for you. You begin to notice timing, the subtle rhythm of chance, power, and consequence. Every move becomes deliberate. You learn that hesitation is worse than fear, and noise is worse than failure. You begin to move only when it's necessary, and when you do, the impact is irreversible. People will test you. They will provoke you to see if they can reach the emotions you've hidden. Do not take the bait. Every test is proof that your calmness intimidates them. They want to break it because they cannot match it. Smile, say little, and observe everything. The less they know about what affects you, the less power they will ever have. Remember this: a storm destroys itself faster than it destroys the mountain. Be the mountain. Let chaos exhaust itself around you. When the dust clears, you'll still be standing, untouched, unbothered, and stronger than before. To be calm is to be patient with fate. Life will not obey your wishes. It will betray your plans, break your expectations, and test your limits. But the calm man does not curse the storm, he uses it. He studies the wind to learn direction. He studies the pain to understand endurance. Every hardship is an instruction manual in disguise. Control is not about never feeling, it's about feeling deeply and showing nothing. The lion roars only when it must. The rest of the time, it watches. That is how you must live, watching, learning, waiting. Because power is not gained in moments of noise, but in moments of silence when no one sees you becoming stronger. Machiavelli warned that men judge more by their eyes than by their hands. Appearances rule more than truth ever will. So control how you are seen. Dress your calm in confidence, your silence in mystery, your detachment in dignity. Let people draw their own stories. They will always imagine something greater than you reveal. The calm mind is not harmless, it is calculating. It measures words before they leave the mouth, measures trust before it's given, measures time before it's wasted. That calculation makes you precise, and precision, over time, becomes dominance. The weak think survival is about fighting every battle. The strong know survival is choosing which battles are worth the effort. You don't need to answer every insult, fix every misunderstanding, or chase every opportunity. The calm choose. They conserve energy, focus, and time, and that's why they win. In every conversation, remember, the one who remains calm controls the outcome. When others raise their voices, lower yours. When they rush, slow down. When they panic, breathe. They will adjust to your rhythm, and without realizing it, they'll follow your lead. Calmness is silent leadership. Eventually, you will feel distance grow between you and others. That's the cost of clarity. Few can live in silence. They need distraction to feel alive, but those distractions keep them weak, predictable, and lost. Let them have noise. You will have power. Machiavelli said it is safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Fear is not cruelty, it is respect earned through consistency. When people know that your calm hides consequences, they stop testing it. When they know your silence precedes action, they start obeying it. Be disciplined enough to stay calm, yet dangerous enough to act decisively when the time arrives. Never confuse calm with inaction, it is preparation. The calm mind collects every detail, calculates every outcome, and then strikes once with perfection. Patience will make you seem distant to the impatient. Focus will make you seem heartless to the distracted. But the world belongs to those who see clearly and move quietly. You are not here to be understood, you are here to be effective. So breathe slower, think longer, speak less, and let the noise around you collapse into exhaustion. Because in the end, the calm inherit what the chaotic abandon. The cold build what the emotional destroy. And those who remain unbroken rule the ruins left by those who lost control. The calm understand time differently. They know that every second of silence plants something. Every moment of restraint becomes a seed of advantage that grows when no one else is watching. Most people live on impulse, but the wise live on timing. They strike when the world blinks. Do not confuse movement with progress. The ocean is always moving, yet it remains where it is. The calm are not always in motion, they are always in control. They know that chaos feeds on reaction. The moment you react, you give energy to what was meant to drain you. When you stay calm, you starve the chaos. It collapses under its own weight. Machiavelli said that fortune is like a river, it floods when it is unrestrained, but can be guided by those who build walls of discipline. Your mind is that river. Without structure, it floods with emotion, doubt, and confusion. Build your walls, discipline, silence, and patience, and you will channel the chaos of life into power. The calm see beyond the moment. They don't chase pleasure, because pleasure fades. They don't fear pain, because pain passes. They know that both are temporary illusions meant to distract the weak from their purpose. You must not live as a creature of emotion. You must live as a builder of order. Power belongs to those who remain constant when the world changes. Everyone can appear strong when things are easy, but the true test of power is to stay composed when nothing makes sense, to smile when everything burns, to plan when everyone else prays. That is how the strong endure where the weak vanish. When you master calmness, you begin to sense things before they happen. You feel patterns forming, you see motives behind faces, you hear truth hiding between words. It is as if the noise of the world slows down for you, and in that slowness, you gain vision. People who live without control are blind to this. They rush, they react, they chase, but they never see. Their emotions make them predictable, and predictability is defeat. The calm are unreadable. That's why they survive every game. Machiavelli warned, appearances must always be controlled, because perception shapes reality. Never let anyone see your chaos. Let them see discipline. Let them see control. Let them see the version of you that cannot be shaken, because perception becomes truth to those who are ruled by sight. You must learn the art of appearing effortless. Let your victory seem natural. Your power seem quiet. Your dominance seem like destiny. The calm never announce what they will do, they simply let results speak. And when others attack you, remember defense is reaction. Silence is dominance. When they insult you, smile. When they lie, stay quiet. When they betray you, disappear. The calm understand that revenge is best served through evolution. When you become stronger, more composed, more untouchable, you destroy them without ever touching them. In time, people begin to feel your energy before you speak. They will sense that your calmness hides storms. They will step carefully, not because you demand it, but because they can feel it. True power doesn't need to raise its voice. Machiavelli said, "Men are more mindful of the present than of the past, and they fear immediate loss more than distant danger." That is why most fail. They chase immediate relief instead of building lasting strength. But you must do the opposite. Sacrifice comfort for control. Trade pleasure for power. Delay the satisfaction that blinds others. Every moment of restraint builds invisible force. Every decision made without emotion adds weight to your presence. The calm do not talk about what they will do, they become it, quietly, until it's too late for anyone to stop them. You will find that loneliness often walks with calmness, because the deeper your stillness grows, the more noise you outgrow. The world will call you detached, but they will never understand that detachment is what gives you freedom. The one who depends least on others commands them the most. Learn to be content in silence. Learn to enjoy solitude. It is in the quiet that the most dangerous parts of you are born, the parts that don't flinch, the parts that don't beg, the parts that simply endure. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold, but boldness is not recklessness. It is clarity in action, and clarity can only come from calmness. The cold and composed see risk clearly. The emotional see only desire. The calm win because they understand that timing is worth more than speed, and patience is worth more than passion. Let others burn themselves out trying to prove something. You will prove nothing and achieve everything. The calm know that the loudest man in the room is often the weakest, and the quiet one is the one making decisions that shape nations. The more silent you become, the louder your impact grows. The less you explain, the more they assume. Let them. The truth is yours, and theirs is just noise. When you master calmness, you'll find a strange transformation. Fear will vanish, not because danger disappears, but because you finally understand that panic never changes outcome. The calm accept reality, adapt to it, and then bend it quietly in their favor. The cold mind doesn't break, it adjusts. It bends pressure into strategy, turns setbacks into lessons, and uses time as its greatest weapon. You must train yourself to respond, not react, to think when others tremble, to act when others argue, to move in silence when others need applause. Because when you master calmness, you master yourself, and the one who masters himself masters everything.